Hello, hello. You are welcome once again to the mandate and to our interview series throughout this month or throughout this past few weeks. We've been having an interactive session where we've been trying to take you on a journey of certain individual people that have been a blessing to this project that we embarked on. And I want to give you just a few minutes, just share the link, share the story, share it out there, put it on your WhatsApp status, put it on your Instagram, on your TikTok, put it everywhere possible, share it among your family members. Support the vision. Is your way of supporting us, is your way of showing gratitude if we've ever been a blessing to you. Don't hesitate to put us out there. All right. Now, let's wait a little bit before we continue. Let's wait for a few people to join in, a few people to tune in so that we can just kick off. Now, my God, we've been having a wonderful time. I think the first time we had Pastor Emmett around, shared some profound insights on music, worship in itself, shared with us about his story, some of the significant memories that shaped his life, he shared with us. And then last week we had Sharon Igwe with us, who shared with us her profound moments as well, also shared with us also on the topic of leadership submission, and also, in the concept of, or let me put it this way, the concept of worship took us a little bit on a journey there. And tonight I have with me AJ Graham. AJ Graham. If you are Fanti, you say AJ Graham. If you are from Burkina Faso, you say AJ Graham. You are from Kumasi, you say AJ Graham. Whatever it is, there is a ham. And so tonight, I want him to introduce himself. Of course, many of you might know him. Many of you might have heard of him, especially if you are connected to us as a church. But tonight, we have with us AJ Kumasi Graham. So AJ, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Introduce yourself to the people.
First of all, thank you very much for being here. I feel very honored to be here on this platform. My name is AJ Graham. I'm a recording artist. I'm a producer and also a sound engineer. I like music. I love to do music, and I feel like my whole life is a music.
Your whole life is music.
Music movement.
Wow, music movement. So you're talking about your whole life being music. When did you start? Does it mean you started in your mother's womb?
Probably because I started when I was small. I was more into media design and also videos, editing, and also beat making. So that's where it all started.
Little as in how old were you then around that time?
I was like from 12. Yeah, from 12 going. Yeah, from 12 going, I started making beats.
Wow.
And yeah.
With your mouth, or did you have programs?
I had programs, Magic Movie Maker or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I used. Yeah, and that's where it started from.
Then having a laptop or a computer at that age, it means your family was rich.
Oh, I borrowed some laptops. And then at the end of the day, I got a laptop from my uncle, and from there, that's how it started.
All right. That's great. That's great. Ladies and gentlemen, that's AJ Graham for you, speaking about his journey concerning music. He started at a very young age. AJ, what do you think it takes, to pursue something that you already know as a child that is something for you?
It takes a lot because first of all, you have to first find the environment where you are. Like literally, there's always an environment that is always against it, or either with you or against it. And in that moment, you have to find the environment that you are in, and that environment will show you if you're going to go that route or either deviate for the first time.
Wow. So find the right environment
Find
that
the
is conducive to what you believe.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
I think there are a lot of people that are watching us right now that might know even right from the beginning as children that this is what I want to do. Right? And I believe that when it comes to things like music or creative, something things that are creative, I believe that because the harvest is not immediately, you don't reap immediately.
Yes.
I believe that most parents, if you walk up to your parent at the age of 12 or to your mom at the age of 12 and you say, Mom, I want to be a music singer, I want to be a music artist. I think your mom is not going to really take you serious. She's going to maybe just know the hair, yeah. But in her mind, she might think better find something better to do. And I think that as time goes on, there's that place where they might sit you down, where they might have that honest conversation with you, pour out their heart and tell you, Master, what you are doing, it cannot feed your family.
Yes.
Did this ever happen to you?
Oh, it happened. On my side, it was the same thing. So basically, I started as time went on. I went out to do media design, and at the end of the day, my parents were there and said, "No, you're not going to do it because, yeah, it doesn't bring anything." So at the end of the day, I decided to do the profession of my father, and he does mechanic. And basically, I went there and did that for 2 years and noticed, no, that's not for me. So basically, at the end of the day, I sat them down and said, okay, people, that's not the direction I want to go. That's not my heart desire. That's not
Wow.
what I want to do. So yeah, that's the right place I want to go. That's in music or sound engineering, or yeah, that's what I wanted
Wow.
to do.
Wow.
And
I remember us having that conversation many years ago
Yes.
when, because there was a place where we were all benefiting from you and that mechanic thing.
Yeah.
Because when our cars got broken down, you fixed it, you help us and all that.
Yes.
Anything to do, you still help us.
Yes.
And so to some extent, it was a little bit sad news for all of us when for me particularly when I heard okay. But I think that there are many of us that are watching us right now that I think the conversation is going to go that way because you've really tapped into something. There are many of us that might be watching us right now that are into something because they want to please people that they look up to, right? Like their parents, they want to do something. They are studying because their parents want them to study. They are doing this thing because if they don't do it, they know their parents might be disappointed in them. But here you are, somebody who said, I gathered that courage to tell my parents that this is not what I want to do. And I think it's not everybody that has that courage. I don't know. Is there something you did to gather that courage? Because after 2 years, working side by side with your father, and then, because I also know that even your father helped you get that spot.
Yeah.
So after 2 years of your father, sweating to get you to that place, and all of a sudden you wake up one day and you say, you know what, this is not for me. Where did you get that courage from?
Definitely, I definitely prayed about it because that's the first thing you always have to do. Because always prayed about boldness so that I can step in front of my father because has a personality, and
Yeah, fathers.
yes, and so I prayed definitely about that boldness that I can make that step and speak to him that God will melt his heart. Definitely that he will have that understanding. Definitely that moment when he heard it, he was definitely sad, and also not proud of what I said, but at that moment I felt relief, and making that step has really turned my life around, because I don't think if I didn't do that, I would still be happy. And I believe if you don't have that boldness, pray for that boldness, because the Spirit is always there for us. And it says in Luke 12:12 that He will help you in that moment, or teach you in that moment what to say. So basically, He always gives you that wisdom to speak. So
Wow.
yeah.
Well, I think this will be helpful for some people out there, because I personally believe that there are many of us that are living in the shadows of other people, and like people who your parents don't necessarily sometimes have to tell you anything. Sometimes it's just the way they look at you. Sometimes it's how they speak of other people as well, of other children, of other parents as well. Because then sometimes they make, I remember back in the days, there was a neighbor. We had a neighbor, and I was not in the same school with her, but we were in the same year. So the neighbor, we all wrote our ABIA at the same time. Our final exams at the same time. And I remember when the results came, yeah, she got her grades, I got my grades, everybody was happy. And then I knew exactly what I wanted to do, but I knew that, okay, if I should pursue that right from the beginning, it's going to bring a certain form of disappointment, because somehow my father had already communicated with me non-verbally, right? Like that place where it's not direct, but you know exactly what is expected of you.
Yeah.
Now, this lady went on and started something. And apparently, I didn't know what she did, but I knew that she started something. And me, I was still in the process of finding myself, trying to, try to find a way to communicate that I'm not doing this thing, like yourself. And I remember that one day my mother went to church, and apparently, my mother went to the same church as her mother. So the mother went to church, and my mom was there, obviously, and the mom was sharing a testimony about her child. And the mom shared the testimony about how the child, has gotten entry to study medicine and all that. And I remember my mom came home that day, and I felt like, okay, you are failing in life. Because he came and you're like, yeah, this one, you've been playing with her, you've been doing this, and she's now studying medicine and all that. And I remember that I just said to myself, I don't care. But the funny thing is that later on, about some years later, when I just gathered the courage, because I was following her, right, on Facebook and everywhere. And I got the courage to one time ask her, so how is life going after, are you done with your studies? And she said, "No, which studies? Your studies, medicine." She said, "No, I was doing a nursing course." Right? So apparently the mother pimped up what she was doing. And I think most of us, we have parents who do that. They pimp us up
That's true.
to the extent that anything below their pimping, will be like a disgrace to their friends, right? So I think for me personally, that breaking out of the shells, or breaking out of the shadows of expectations of the parents is very, very necessary if you want to walk in the calling and that uniqueness of your mandate. Thank you so much.
That's true.
Now, I think that you have spoken about, you gathering that courage, what you did, like praying to gather that courage. Now, the question I have for you is this: that, simply not knowing, or knowing what you don't want to do is not enough. And also knowing what you want to do, but then knowing also that it is the right thing that God has called you to do. Because there's that place where what you feel inside of you is a hobby. Because there's that place where you want to do something that excites you. Because nowadays, I see a lot of people that, when you ask them, why did you stop this? They tell you it was not fun. There was no fun. There was no happiness. So where do you draw the line? How do you know that this thing, or how did you know that this thing is my calling and not something that I want to pursue as a hobby?
So where I noticed, or how I found out, was how my heart was burning for that thing. I didn't see it as a hobby because anytime I stepped into that place or stepped into that, let's say, music realm or music place, or I felt like I needed to do more because there are people out there that need that same thing or are looking for that people like that, and so how I noticed was is where my heart was burning for, how my heart was burning for it. Because you can have a hobby and it's like, okay, today I'll go there and then do something, and then next day I'll just do something else. But when your heart is burning for that, you definitely do more and push more for to learn more for it, and also, yeah.
AJ, I don't want to interrupt you or be rude, but if I'm listening to you carefully, you're saying that when my heart is burning for it, I believe that you will be a witness to me that your heart has burned for some lady before,
Yeah.
and then at the end, you realize that's not it. So my heart burning for it, my heart burning for it, how do I still know? Because my heart can be burning for something, yet
Yeah.
it's not that thing. I don't know if you're with me.
Yeah.
There can be that place in me where I'm just like, I want to do this. I want this lady. I want this thing. I want this job. Sometimes people, they when you sit down with them at job interviews, sometimes when you ask them, why do you want this job? And you're like, oh, the things they talk to you about, how passionate they are, how they've been studying about the company and all that. But then they get into the company, and then within 3 weeks,
Yeah.
they are already down because now that they found it, or now that they got it, they are now realizing that it's not it. And I'm speaking on behalf of those who are on that threshold, that want to make that decision, but they need that clarity. That my heart is burning for it, yes, but what else? Do I need something else?
Yeah, definitely you need something else. What you need is
Or
my
what did you
pers-
need after with your heart burning for it? What else?
I definitely had to go deeper and learn for it or learn more about it. Um, when I learned about or started learning about more of it, I noticed that there's even something deeper about it, or because, like I said before, there are people looking for it, looking for these people, and basically, I had that longing that people need me in that position. So if let me rephrase, because people need you in that position, and so definitely there's something that you have to do that you I'll rephrase.
Rephrase again. We will keep on going back. Don't worry, we have time. By the way, you are tuned in to the mandate. Here with me in my studio, I have Kevin behind the camera. I have Tabitha on the monitors as well, switching here and there. And I have Mr. A.J. Graham, the man who gathered the boldness to say, I want to be a creative, how do you call it? A creative artist. I want to pursue that which is upon my heart against every odd. So, right with me here, I've thrown to him the question of am I able, or how was he able to separate, that thing which was upon his heart? How was he supposed? How did he discern that this is not just a hobby, but also my calling? Let me share with you as you're thinking about this. I believe personally that every person actually embedded in you, you know what to do. Not what to do, but what you're called to do. I believe it's there. Now, many look down on it because everybody reduces it to a certain understanding of what they feel and think to be a calling. You can be called to sell dog food. You can be called to be a bank manager. You can be called into the church. You can be called in so many areas. Now, your calling is that place where God has ordained you to succeed, right? And not just to succeed, but his business is in taking glory out of your success. So, I personally have some personal experiences where I've had to simply allow myself to be led to a certain place. Of course, I needed to be born again, right? But then, even then, what God continued to do with me, He did not start, or what God did with me, or He's doing with me, He did not start when I got born again, but He started even before I got born again. I don't know if you're with me. Yeah. So there's that place where there are people who might have, certain urges in them. And sometimes these things, they might lead to them even using it the wrong way. Remember last week, or was it last 2 weeks, I was speaking about Moses. And I said that maybe I might go back to talk about Moses. Remember that Moses' calling began before, or his realization of his calling, or that urge in him concerning his calling, it was there before he encountered God. Yeah. How do I know it? Because he was in the palace, was eating good food, having the best education, all that he needed was there. But yet there was still that hole. There was still, how do I know there was a hole? Because how come he cared so much about Israel, or about the Israelites, to the extent that he interceded, and killed someone on their behalf? Although if it was anybody else, we would have stayed quiet. And so I believe that even before I got born again, God was already working with me, or working in me to a certain place. And that's what I call prevenient grace. That is the grace of God, which is already at work until we encounter Him. Are you with me? Yeah. And so, for me personally, I think that is very important, that most of us, we don't just simply look after we got born again, but we look also in our journey before we got born again. Mm-hmm. And we find it even with Paul. With Paul, it's the same thing. Paul went to study. He went to study the scriptures and was so profound in scriptures, so deep in it, to the extent that after he had encountered God, he still used him to write the scriptures, right? And so I think that most of us, we have limited our calling because we do not pay respect to it, or we assume that it's too little for us. I don't know if you are with me. All right. Are there any questions? Are there any questions? Somebody says we are there, but sometimes you find out it was just a crush. Emi Debbie, you are still talking about AJ's crush. All right. Now, I think that, AJ, when it comes to, walking in your mandate or in your calling, I think that I don't want to put out statistics that are not backed, but I'll be bold enough to say that a lot of people, even if not more than half of the people that live in this world, will not be able to fulfill their mandate. I think it's a bold statement, but I can really bet on it. Because how do I know this? Because I know that, number one, as you said, many people are not bold enough to confront some of the expectations of people. Yeah. Number two, I believe people are not ready to disappoint people in order to please God. Yeah. Number three, I believe people do not build enough faith to be able to see from the perspective of God. Number four, am I at number four? Yeah. Yeah. Number four, I believe that many people have not gotten to the place where they understand that the most important thing about walking in your calling is walking with God. And so there are many points that we could lay down here and there. Now, if you look at all these points, 1, 2, 3, 4, I laid down just 4. If you look at all these points, what do you think many people that are watching us right now, let's say somebody is watching us, I have maybe Debbie here, and Debbie is saying that, you know what, my challenge is that I have fear in me. I'm afraid. what would be your advice? How do you overcome fear? How did you overcome fear?
How I overcome fear was definitely stepping into it, like because the Bible says he hasn't given us the spirit of fear, but spirit of sound mind, love, and peace. And so having that mindset will definitely have you that boldness to step into that, or go into that field of fear, because fear definitely, yes, we have fear. Before this interview, I was nervous, yeah, so but still I had that courage, or I had that boldness to sit here and say, okay, Pastor, I'm not gonna do this, or I'm gonna do this, because that fear would have made me not go into that place where I will confront my parents and do what I'm doing right now. So basically, I think having that Bible verse or Bible quotation in mind always gives you that place of having a certain fire that will give you that step to make that step. So basically, yeah, that's what I'll say.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yesterday or 2 days ago, I was thinking about something. It just dawned on me. And I said to myself, wow, time is short. We have very limited time. And we have just this one chance
Yeah.
to experience life. Because we are not, bodies that are trying to make spiritual experiences, but we are spirits that are trying to make, earthly experiences. So you are going to, everything that you're going to do here, you have just one opportunity
Yeah.
to do it. And after that comes death. And when death comes, you're not going to have the opportunity to be a music artist again. You're not going to have the opportunity to, to step into that thing.
Yeah.
And so I was reminded again that it's important that I follow the path that God has laid before me,
Yeah.
no matter what is going on, no matter what I think may be a challenge, because this is the only one chance that I have at life.
Yeah.
If at this age, or if in the next, even if I should live to be 50 years old, there should be that place in me where at every given point in my life and at every given moment, I should be able to say, I'm living the life that God called me to live. And not only that, I am enjoying that life to the extent that the journey is actually the goal. I don't know if you get me. So you might not become you might not find yourself one day at what do you call it, the as at the top of the chart of UK stars or whatever. But at the end of the day, if you are able to enjoy the journey, I believe that then you've won.
Yeah.
Because I believe that the one who wins or who has won the battle is not just the one who is standing, but the one who is also, even if they are lying on the ground, they still see hope, or they still have hope. And so in their sight, or in their looking into the future and seeing that hope, they still smile. And that's what Jesus did. He looked beyond the cross. He was on the cross, but he looked at what awaited him. And I believe that a man that is down in this moment, but yet is smiling, or is yet at that place where he knows that, this is not the end. I may not have that money to buy the stuff that I need to do this or that and that and that. But all I have now, I'm using it, to the best that I can use it. Now, AJ, that brings me to the topic of excellence. Now, what is your take on excellence?
Excellence. I see excellence as way of growth also, where I can, let's say, publish something and know that afterwards I'll get that, or I'll have the people around me that will criticize me and say, okay, that's in that place you did it wrong, or you could have done something proper. But that's what I see as excellence. The thing I have was in excellence and also perfection. They are slightly let's say, slightly the same, because excellence, like I said, you find growth in them, where you can grow, where people tell you, okay, you can correct these things, and also in where perfection, it makes you the person that you stress on so much things that you focus on so much little things that you don't grow from what you want to put out there, because it's like when you put perfection and excellence on the right on the same platter. It's like perfection, you want to put every little thing in order, but
Yeah. Yeah.
it is not, it doesn't make you grow, because you don't know what you've done wrong.
Okay.
And that's what I put into excellence and perfection. So excellence is just growth for me, where I grow, where I can grow and grow more and more. Yeah, that's how I see excellence.
Wow. I think the speaking of excellence, it's funny that the only song that right now we've been able to put on, or I ever put on out there on YouTube, it was from my living room when it was just spontaneous. Me and Paul were just there, and then he was just playing something, and then so we did not even do anything. We did not master. We did not do anything. It's just like recorded, and I was like, you know what? Let's put it now, because I know that if I say let's work on it, then at the end of the day, I'm going to put myself so much into it, to the extent that I will want every little detail to be as planned. And I think we are experiencing it with this project as well,
definitely.
where we have a lot of obstacles.
Definitely.
We have a lot of stuff that we have to deal with, and some of my friends and some of the people that I've shared it with have been encouraging me, post it, still put it out there. And in me, I'm like, nah, I can't overlook this, because once I've seen it, it's difficult for me to overlook it. I don't know if you get me. And if I'm not there yet, if I don't see it, then it's different.
Yeah.
But if I see it, once I pinpoint that this is a mistake, it becomes difficult for me to put my mistakes out there. And I think many of us experience it, and we go through those moments. And I think that if there are people watching us, I think that thing it's difficult to overcome.
Yeah. I was a perfectionist, let's say, when I started producing. It was very hard for me to put things out there, because it was I didn't know. I just wanted to correct every single thing, and I came to a point that I just wanna I break out of that perfection. I don't know why. I don't know how, but I came out of that place where I said, no, I'll just leave things the way it is and just release them, and afterwards let me hear the feedback.
Okay.
Yes, and that was how the spirit of perfection
All right.
left me.
All right. Because I remember you used to send me some songs.
Yeah.
I was like, AJ, stop this thing until you grow a little bit. Because this one is, there's a place where people are so, I don't know, there's something about music, I don't know, and art in itself,
Yeah.
creativity in itself, where the person is doing it is convinced,
Yeah.
that this is it, right? And sometimes it takes people around you that are very honest with you.
Yeah.
And I even coming here, I was thinking about it. Right? How many people are able to tell their friends
Yeah.
that, my friend, I will not share this song because I don't like it. Like, I can identify with it.
Yeah.
My friend, I know you started that business, but it's too expensive.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, we need people like that, especially when you're in that creative place.
Definitely. It's the thing is, in that place, you really need that person that will definitely say no and yes. That's why we have in that place, or in that industry, we have a executive producer.
Okay.
Where he looks over the whole project.
Yeah.
Says, okay, my friend, we'll do it different. We'll do that and that, and that's how we also need that person that will overlook not overlook, but watch over that
Yeah.
project or anything
Yeah.
that will say, okay, what you sang in that moment was not good, or that chord that you played that was not good. So let's restart again. And
Yeah.
that's
There's one thing that makes me understand that I've grown. One of the things is that there was a time I had no patience for certain things, right? For example, that me paying a videographer and then he comes and then the video is just bomb. It's like you are definitely getting me my money back.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely not. Maybe if it's possible, I'll even take you to court if it's possible. But then there's that place where I sat down with the videographer and we are looking at it and it's like, oh, this camera battery went off. And I was like, okay. And I'm like, okay, at least we had 2 cameras left.
Yeah.
So, and then he says, oh, the second one also went off. And like, so what do we have? It's like, yeah, we had 1 camera. Okay. Then let me see the camera or let me see that view. And then you realize, oh no, we couldn't capture anything that is tangible. But then exactly those moments in you, you're like, this is what I wanted you to capture. Yeah. I don't know if you're with me. But then here am I sitting down, sipping my tea. And I think tea is very good. Sipping my tea on a Saturday morning, sitting with him, going through the videos, looking, and then I realized, okay, so this song, you did not capture this place, you did not capture there. All right, peace be unto you. And then I simply thank him.
Yeah.
And then I leave that place. And I think it comes from a place where your heart has been broken many times.
Yeah.
I think that's the key. That's the key. Because if I should recount how many times my heart has been broken.
Yeah.
Like, for example, us being in church, and you have the media team, some of them are here. And then all of a sudden, that moment, that this is the moment, you should capture. And then you go and then you check and sound was off.
Yeah.
And the whole church, sometimes you have a whole church service, and the whole church service, the sound was not coming. And nobody watched the chat to respond to the people that are saying, hey, check the sound, the sound. Nobody had earpiece, to just listen to what is going on. And then I'm like, at home, I'm like, you had just one job.
Yeah.
Right? But as time goes on, you grow.
Yeah.
You grow from that place where you're like, okay, it's okay. Let's leave it here. Right? And so growth happens. I think that's one of the most important things, especially when you are in that sphere. Growth must happen.
Definitely.
Because as long as you are bent on doing something creative, you're always going to find yourself in that place where there is that spot on where you feel like, okay, that's that moment, right? And so I remember Pastor Joshua saying to me when we came, he said, you know what, let's record everything. Because we don't know when we are going to get certain moments, right? And sometimes even what we deem not to be a part of the project might end up being part of the project. So I remember that the first moments where Benize is leading us in worship, he was not supposed to capture, but he captured. By the way, that's the reason why the batteries went off early, right? And so he captured it, had very beautiful, my God, when I watched that video, I'm like, God, but then still in that video, I still have my points.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're with me. So I don't know, maybe when the video comes out, you guys are going to see what we are talking about. By the way, let me take some questions.
Yes.
What are practical tips to include God in our calling? Example, I'm called to be a doctor. How can I then express Jesus in my calling? Wow. Ernest Foggiano. How can I express Jesus in my calling? My God. Do you know something? I tell people this, or I have a certain understanding that I carry with me. I don't believe that God is going to judge a person that he has not called to be a pastor as a pastor. If you are called to be, let's say, a nursery teacher, God is not going to judge you for not being a worship leader in church. I don't know if you get me. God is going to judge you by how many children you were able to pull into the light and how much weight you were able to put upon their lives in order to cause an impact, a heavy impact in their lives.
Yeah.
And I always tell people I will never forget my Sunday school teacher in back when I was a little child at Pentecost, back in Ghana.
Yeah.
I will never forget her. Because I remember even after church, she used to pass at the front of my house to go home, and I'd sit on the walls of my chair of our home, just to watch her pass by, and then I'll say bye bye. You know that place,
Yeah.
and that's that much impact that she had on me. I'll never forget my class 2, class 3 teacher. Now I'll never forget his name. And I remember even as a grown-up, one day I went to a conference and I saw him. I was like, this man, I know him from somewhere. And they mentioned his name. I was like, oh, that's that man.
Yeah.
He never told us he's a teacher, he's a pastor or whatever.
Yeah.
He just simply taught us. But yet there was something profound about him. The last person is one day, not long ago, I was on my WhatsApp status and I saw on somebody's status a certain man of God. And I looked at the man of God and was like, I know this man. I was like, have I heard his preaching before? Where do I know him from? So I began to look, and this man is now one of the top. I don't know. He's in charge of, I think, the Church of Pentecost, the global outreach. And this man, I looked at the name and I was like, I know this man from somewhere. And so I was in Ghana recently. I was chatting with a friend of mine that we were in the same school, and I asked the friend, like, oh, we are just chatting about these teachers. And I asked him, where's this teacher? And so, he don't you know? I said, what do I know? He said, oh, he's now the Church of Pentecost International. And I was like, now I know where I know this man from. And this man was my chemistry teacher.
Wow.
I don't know, but the way he portrayed himself, the way he comported himself, the way he taught us, the patience he had, the way something about him that made us always think a certain way. So I believe that when you are called to be a doctor, you don't necessarily have to wear a shirt with the name Jesus on it, but it's how maybe you might comfort your patients, how you might have, let me rhyme, have patience for your patients. So it's I believe it's more about your attitude and the way you look for an opportunity, not just to speak of Christ, but to represent him.
Yeah, that's true. Because I have, while you were speaking, at my workplace, I had a colleague where he applied for a job at our place to be a technical advisor, and basically he worked like almost 2 weeks, and he had to stop because he had depression.
Wow.
And he felt so free with me that he had to share it with me. And I was like, okay, first of all, who am I that you already so free with me that you want to share that with me? And it dawned on me that, okay, I've been representing Christ in my workplace, because everybody knows in my workplace I'm a Christian. And
That's
basically, so it was like, okay, he just pulled me aside and started explaining how it came to that place that he has the depression. And I was so grateful, and I even said, okay, let me have that chance and pray for him. And since then we are just cool. We have contacts, and we've been speaking mostly of some of the times, and asking of him how is he doing, because he has to go to a therapist, and I've been asking him how the session's been going, and he said, yeah, it's been good. And yeah, it's very important to just, because last time I also, like, I think yesterday I saw a video, and doctors just worshiping God whilst they were even having an operation. And it's very important to have Jesus in your work life, or in your life, let's say. So it's very important to.
Thank you so much. I also believe that it's important that you have Jesus and not only have him but represent him.
Yeah.
You know, there are many people that want to present Jesus, but they don't want to represent him.
Yeah.
They want to speak of him from the mouth and say Jesus, Jesus, but then their life, their patience, the way they speak, the way the way they deal with problems.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's just how you deal with situations.
That's true.
Because I've realized that people who do not really have relationship with God deal with stress a certain way. You know, they when stress happens, especially in the country that we are in, people just blow off like that, like blah, 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 blah. Because and for me, I'm always like, thank you, Jesus. I'm okay. Like I don't know why you are so stressed about this. It's for me is not really an issue.
Yeah.
And sometimes it makes them feel like, okay, you are very optimistic. But it's not optimistic. It's not like you're optimistic, but it's because of the joy and peace that you have within you,
Yeah.
because of the Christ that you have subscribed to.
Yeah. That's true.
Let me take another question. It says, do you think it's better to stay where you feel comfortable or step into new areas? And if so, what advice would you offer, for example, in singing or producing? Like, is it better to stay where you feel comfortable or to step into new areas? And if so, what advice would you offer, for example, in singing or producing?
I'll definitely say don't stay in your comfort zone because it will not bring you anywhere. It will not bring you to the place or the person that you want to be because comfort zone is just your let's say your gift that you've got from God, and it will you can always be in your gifting but never come out of that limitation of gifting and going out and being let's say talent.
Yeah.
So breaking out of gifting and going into talent will make you a better person because you've learned to break out of that comfort zone because comfort zone is very hard to come out. I've been there and sorry. But comfort zone is very, very hard to break out for. But breaking out of there and breaking out and going into new places will definitely show you, okay, I can definitely do something new. And also, I never knew that I could do that new thing because you have been in that comfort zone for a long time and you have already been singing Do, Re, Mi, Fa, So always. And you have never been out of that out of that comfort zone, and breaking out of that comfort zone will definitely help you to achieve more of your voice and break out and achieve higher things, higher heights and so basically I'll tell that person to definitely break out and make and do something new because new things new things help. They help you grow, and your comfort zone will never help you grow. And so, in singing and in producing, you definitely have to do new things. Yeah, that's
All
what I'm
right.
saying.
I think that there are, while you're speaking, there are two things that come into mind. I look at it from this perspective that there is a balance that must happen or an imbalance, which is good, right? Because if you're going to walk, there's that place where you have to keep your balance,
Yeah.
yet there's that moment where there's an imbalance. So it's about imbalance, balance, imbalance, balance. And even when you look at how God grows and even is advancing the body of Christ, it's always been about balance.
Yeah.
Imbalance, some people are like far grace, hyper grace,
Yeah.
and then comes that place where people are like, oh, legalism, and then we come back again. So there's that movement which happen a reason of imbalance, balance. And so I'm going to speak about two things. Number one, the first thing that I believe that must be in place is passion. What we call the fire.
Yeah.
Passion must be in place. The second thing is knowledge. So must be a balance between knowledge and passion, yet an imbalance between passion and knowledge is still good because that's what propels you forward.
Yeah.
Right? What do I mean by that? There's that place where there's that guy who does not even know, like he's playing the keys,
Yeah.
right? And he doesn't even know the basics of playing keyboard, but yet he's so filled with passion.
Yeah.
He wants to do these things. And sometimes in his bid to do these things, he begins to do things that even the theory of music
Yeah.
has not yet discovered yet.
Yeah.
And yet it sounds good. I don't know if you're with me.
Yeah.
So there's that place where somebody like maybe singing, they don't even know they are singing off key.
Yeah.
But yet in their singing of off key, they discover something else
Yeah.
about themselves.
Yeah.
So I believe that there must be that place where you are not afraid of allowing your passion to take over.
Yeah.
And when your passion has taken over, now that's that place where you seek understanding in the knowledge of what you have now experienced.
Yeah.
And I'm saying this from experience because I used to play football. Many of you don't know this, but I used to be a soccer player. And at one point in time, when you train, we used to train in cold, you are training every time you're training. And at one time, I remember very clearly that when the people were coming to get the ball, there were things I did I've never done before.
Yeah.
Never done before. And in that moment, I was like, I'm like, wow. And then whilst we are in the locker room, somebody would just come and they would say, like, what did you do there? And I'm like, I don't know. So I'll go back and then try to recreate what I created.
Yeah.
Right? And so in that moment, it was that place where there's been something about my anatomy that has changed, but yet it's my passion that pushed me there. And that imbalance of me allowing my passion to take over.
Yeah.
Me standing in front of people singing, although I know my voice is not good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yet, I don't hear my voice is not good because I'm so passionate about what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you get me. And so I think that many of us, we are not passionate enough. And if we are passionate, we do not allow our passion to take over in certain moments that are important. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So there must be a balance between passion, the fire, and knowledge.
Yeah.
And yet an imbalance that propels you forward, that pushes you out. You just do it, and then all of a sudden you go home, you're looking at it, and you realize, oh, I messed up.
Yeah.
But yet in that moment, you were not ashamed. You were
Yeah.
so deep in it that you did not care what people thought about you. But then when you go home and you're watching it, you realize, oh, yeah, but this key, I got it. That one, I got it. That one, I did not get it. Or maybe next time I should do it this way. Should do it that way. And then you step into knowledge again. And then you step out again, right? By passion. Then you step into knowledge. And I believe that's the step. That's the rhythm to
believe so.
a healthy growth.
Yeah, I believe so because sorry. Because what you said is very it makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Now, should I take some questions?
Yeah, you can.
One or two more questions. I'm going to do that. But before that, I want you to share with us some of the experiences we had when we were doing this project. Because at one point, you were the one in charge of the lights. You're doing the lights, and then you're doing the sound, and then you're doing this, and you're doing that, all over the place. And I want you to share with us, what do you think about the whole thing? And why are you so sure that we should put this thing out there?
The experience of on that day, it was a very a spiritual thing. Because at first I thought it was setting all the lights and getting ready to start. First of all, I thought, okay, it's gonna be the people or the people that are gonna be there will be stagnant or will be. That was my first where I was afraid of. But at the end of the day, I noticed that when we were singing and praying and worshiping, at the end of the day, they were free. And what what printed in my on me on that day was very on that day where everybody was very free and were worshiping and praising and basically what I would say is for the people out there. The
So you
question
think it's going to be a blessing?
It's going to be a blessing. It's going to be yeah, a powerful, very powerful blessing.
I remember when there's this song that we've recorded before that "You Will Forever Reign," and I remember the first time we did the recording, it was just it was random, but yet not that random because we had Marcus coming around all the way from Saarbrücken and all that. But then I remember that we started at home, and then it got to a point where we continued the recording at in a church.
Yeah.
And it was not in this church, it was in a different church. It was at Living Faith. And I remember that when we were recording the song, there was one guy there who was randomly there. And so he was the one that we told, Amor just showed him, back then.
Yeah.
Amor was the one in charge of the sound.
Yeah.
And yet Amor was, I think, also playing drums or something. Oh my God. Amor was also playing drums or something. It's all right. Amor was also playing drums or something. So Amor told him to, showed him how to control the sound.
Yeah.
So this guy went on and then was just behind there. So apparently, while we were just, recording the song, the Holy Ghost just came upon the guy, and the guy began to speak in tongues for the first time.
Yeah.
While we were just recording the song, right? Now, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah. Now, the Holy Ghost just descended, and the guy began to just speak in tongues. So that's how the guy received the gift of speaking in tongues whilst we were recording the song, right?
Wow.
And then after that, he was like, "Yeah, this you don't know what happened, and the song and all that." There is something about songs that that are spiritual.
Yeah.
They have a strong impact on us. The songs sometimes accompany you to places in the depth of the spirit that you could never pray yourself into.
That's true.
And so I believe so much that this project is going to be a huge
Definitely.
blessing to many people out there because it's going to help you, climb into a certain realm. It's going to help you dig deeper into a certain realm. It's going to help you come out of certain fleshly moods. It's going to help you pray. It's going to help you worship. It's going to help you praise. And I cannot wait for the people out there to experience what we experienced on that day. And that's
definitely.
the only thing that I'm praying for. My prayer is that anybody that gets a hold of this song, anybody that gets to hear it, that they experience the atmosphere that was here. Because the atmosphere was like it was tangible.
Yeah.
It was crazy like presence that was here. And we found people who normally would be standing there, people who normally, would have nothing to do with, that kind of energy in the presence of God. Those people jumping around, those people, in the spirit with us, those people celebrating with us, normally people who you'd have to preach to for about 5 hours before they come out of themselves.
Yeah.
You find them instantly just jacked up like that and just with us. All right. So AJ, I think we might not be able to take more questions, but I think one of the things that I believe in these times that we are in, God is doing, is that God is raising creatives. People that are creative enough. That's why we see this thing about social media going on. You see this thing about what do you call it? These influencers, right? And it's funny that all these social media spaces are using jargons that are actually in some way biblical. You find, influencers, people that have said to themselves, we want to influence the world. We want to be the salt and the light of this
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
You find Instagram introducing something like follow me. If, like in other words, making disciples,
Disciples, yeah.
right? You having people, and I think that we've lost sight of one thing, that how many people, 200 people are. I don't know. Sometimes you have a social media space and you have 200 followers and you feel like, oh,
Yeah,
it's just
it's just-
nothing.
yeah.
But some of you, the 200 followers, they are more than your church.
That's true.
Like some of you have 1,000 people following you, and you don't realize they are more than the number of people in your church. In other words, you have a bigger platform that your pastor has.
Yeah.
I don't know if you get me. So I believe that in this end time, one of the things God is doing is that He's raising creatives. And I know this by reason of the advancement in technology that God has exposed us to. Because I don't believe that is coincidence. I don't know. I don't believe it's coincidence, because remember the printing press and how the revival, or how Martin Luther broke out, of or helped people break out of that religious understanding, and they were able to do it. He was able to do it because at that very in that very season, the printing press had been invented. People were now able to print. So with that, he was able to print a lot of his theses out there, put it all over the place. And that's what I believe is happening right now. That God has made, has given us a certain access into a certain place of technology to help us put out something out there, or to help us multiply or amplify what we are doing. So now the church is not only confined to the four walls, but now as we are preaching on Sunday, we are also preaching somewhere in South Africa.
Yeah.
We are also in India. Somebody in Jamaica may tune in.
Yeah.
And yet, that person might even experience something that somebody who was here present cannot experience. So I believe so much that God in this new era, is building up, or is focused on raising creatives. Now, I want you to speak to somebody out there who I believe is watching us right now, that has been called into that area of being a creative, but they don't know how to start. They don't know where to start. They don't know when to start. It's like they just know it, but apart from that, there's nothing else.
What I'll say from my perspective, or my advice, you have the ideas, you have gotten the ideas, or you have content ideas. Just make a plan for yourself. Okay, this and this day I'll post, or this and that I'll do. I'll advise you just to start. Just start. Just do that step. Make that step and post. It is very, very important, because we all started from somewhere, and it will not be, like I said before, perfection will definitely harm you if you say, okay, I will do this and do this, these little things I'll do. It's just have to have that mindset of growth. If you post, yes, who will say, okay, like we said before, friends that will say, will tell you, or who advise you, okay, that video that you posted, you could do something else or something better from it. And that's how you grow, or have the will be better for future wise, because starting small beginnings are very, very important. Even the Bible says small beginnings are very, very, very important. So having that small beginning, stepping into that place of beginning or starting, will definitely help you. Will definitely give you that boldness to even do more for people to see.
Do you know, while we were speaking, I was thinking about that song, one of the song that one of the very first song you used to minister. You remember that song? What's that song?
Which one? The Holy Spirit one?
Yeah, what's the name?
Holy Spirit. I forgot that.
Oh my God. Small boys will grow. We shall all grow. Hallelujah. All right. So that's AJ Graham for you. By the way, there's a reason why I did not clean this thing up because I was looking at it. It looked very creative.
Very creative.
It looks like the map of heaven. It looks like the map of heaven. I think there's a place where we must learn to actually see things from the bright side.
Yeah.
And I think that many of the songs out there, many of the people out there that have been a blessing, they did not. Sometimes it's just them believing that this thing. Let me just put it out there.
Yeah.
That's it. And sometimes people put in so much work and yet nothing happens.
Yeah.
It doesn't go far. But then somebody puts out something random. When you look at all the things that are going viral out there,
Yeah.
it's like, my God, nobody could ever, like sometimes by consciousness or consciously create certain moments that impacts the world.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just simple coincidence. It happens and then it's funny, or is this, or is that, and then all of a sudden somebody gets impacted.
That's true.
Right. All right. So AJ, we're about to end here. I think this has been very, very authentic. We have a very honest conversation. Thank you so much for opening up, because and thank you so much for being sincere. Thank you for your help also throughout this project. You've been a key element in it right from the beginning. All the toys, all the burdens that was placed upon you. Thank you for saying yes to it. Thank you for saying yes to your calling as well and being authentic about it. All right. So, people of God, with that said, we're about to leave. But before we leave, AJ has some songs. I want AJ to, just give us one of his songs. And then before we leave this place, AJ, can you share with us one of your songs?
Definitely, I have a song that will be coming on Friday called Open Arms.
Open Arms.
Yeah, that song I wrote, it was a place from where the prodigal son, and that story dawned on me and made me write that song. Is very, 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 very dear to my heart, because it's like a prayer to me, from me to God, where He opens up His arms, and embraces me whenever I fall, and also rise up again, and He always opens up His arm. Yeah.
Wow.
I will not sing it, please.
I saw you dancing behind Angel's song.
Yeah.
That one was funny as well.
Yeah, that one I produced it, called Murphy.
There's that place you write and produce and then you forget. Sometimes in church I'm trying to sing my own song and I don't
And then you
remember the
forget-
lyrics. I'm
forget
like,
the
how
lyrics.
does this song go again? Yeah, that's what happens when you simply put out what God has placed upon your heart. All right, so on the 13th of December, we have our songs coming out. Wherever you are, find yourself on our YouTube page, Remnant RGC MusiQ.
Yes.
Please follow us out there, help us out there, put out the presence of God out there, bringing it into the homes of people. We are really, really excited for that day. We are looking forward to that. Me, myself, personally, I've not had the finished product yet. And that's the funny thing.
I'm also excited.
And I was speaking to Pastor Emmett today, and I was saying, there's a lot of things that seems like I can't overlook now,
Yeah.
but I'm going to try to overlook, right? And so, we are going to put something out there.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's out there.
It's out there.
It's out there. And so, the Lord bless you. Thank you so much for keeping up
Thank
with
you
us.
for being.
And by God's grace, next time we meet again, you are going to have already heard of the songs or have tuned into the songs. All right. Now, there's somebody watching us right now. Your name is Evelyn Graham. Graham. Evelyn Graham. Please. Are you somehow acquainted to Mr. Graham here? Miss Evelyn Graham. Or do you know her?
I think so, yes. Yeah, no, that's my mom.
Oh, that's your mom.
Yeah.
My God. AJ's mom is here. All right. At age 6, your mom said you started dancing in Tema at age 6. At this point, if we don't go off, AJ's mom is going to expose his boxer shorts colors and how many times he even baths or do not bath at home. At this point, we end here. God bless you so much. The 13th of December, we're coming out with a mandate, with a sound that is supposed to help you, that is supposed to, push a generation deeper into the presence of God. Thank you. I sign out. Bye-bye.
God bless. Bye.